Today we're discussing the Alvarez AG608CE. Hey, James G here with Tarpley Music in Fort Worth, Texas. You can find us at tarpleymusic.com. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So Alvarez AG608. What does the 8 mean? It means 8-string guitar. So when I first saw this, what I do with a lot of gear, I'm like, why? Right? But actually, as I played it and listened to it and worked with it, it's so cool. So when you think of a 12-string, right, we've all heard a 12-string sound. The 12-string has the E, A, D, and G have a higher octave string, and then the B's and the E's are doubled, okay? You heard on a lot of recordings to get that chorusy, chimey kind of guitar sound, right? Also, a lot of times in recording, guys will do a 6-string regular hard pan left and right, and they'll do a Nashville high string right in the middle. And the Nashville high string is literally just the 6 high strings of a 12-string set to get that kind of 12-string sound. Well, this I really like because you still get a little bit of that higher end chimey sound because the only strings that are doubled with the higher octave is D and G. So to do that on a 12-string, you got to have a much wider neck, which can be kind of hard to play. Also, that many strings put a lot of tension on a guitar, and so sometimes it can be kind of hard to play and get a really good sound on that 12-string. So I think this was a solution to, hey, we want to add a little chimey 12-strinkedness, but not use the full thing. So it wasn't like someone was making a 12-string, got almost done, and said, forget it, we're going with 8. Right? There's actually a thought process behind this. But other than that concept, still just a wonderful acoustic guitar. Obviously a cutaway electric. This is a Sitka spruce top. It's mahogany back and sides. 21 frets. And then the scale length is 25 and a half. So it's a little bit longer and of course that being the bridge to the nut length there. And then it's got an LR Backstage Pro Element Pro pickup in this. So it's a really, really good pickup. It's got your EQ in there. It's got a built-in tuner. It also has a phase. So if you're not familiar with phase, where that's really going to help you is if you're playing live through an amp and you're getting this weird kind of, you can hit that phase button. It flips that, and a lot of times will kill that sound out for you. And that's really about that main thing. So it's definitely meant to be gigging and playing on. So it's just a really cool concept to have this little bit kind of a chimier sound. And it does add a little bit more. So we're actually going to do some playing with just the 8-string. Mic'd different ways, direct, and some combinations and things. And then we're actually going to compare it to a very similar guitar that's only 6-string. So how we have this going right now is the Alvarez is simply going into a DI, right into an interface in a Studio One, and the EQ is flat. So this is just a straight, flat recording of what the guitar sounds like, plugged in direct. So this time we are miking with the Sennheiser E906. It's a really great dynamic mic that we use a lot. Now we're going to turn on the direct again, so you're actually going to hear a combination of the 906 and direct signal. So now we're using a good large diaphragm condenser. This particular one's the AKG C214. So now once again, we're going to add the direct signal in addition to that. So now I have Tyler joining me. He's a sales rep with our Burleson, Texas location, and we kind of want to show the difference of what these two little strings can make, because you've played this, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so we talked a little bit the 12 string and the how wide the neck has to be and the tension and all those kinds of things. So does it really make a difference? And I feel it does. So I'm going to play just a couple chords here and then have Tyler play those as well, so you can hear the little difference between the D and the G octaves. Still great sounding guitar. Mm-hmm. This is actually a very similar model. It's just a mahogany top, so the tonal wood is just a different like that. But there's just this little bit chiminess that you get on the top end of that, and it's really nice. And so let's do it again, and then we're actually going to play a little bit together so they can kind of hear them stacked. Go ahead. Nice. It just adds this. It's almost like there's a Mando guy sitting in the back of the corner, just kind of playing along with us. But whatever. Yep. So overall, I think this is a really interesting guitar. Like I said before, when I first saw it, I'm kind of thinking, well, why? And I think about that a lot of gear. And usually, what I'll do is go figure out why, because it's not like someone snaps their fingers and this kind of a guitar is in the shop the next day, right? It takes a whole lot of process to it. So I started playing it, watching a lot of videos, and I really, really love that little chiminess that it can add, especially if you're a solo acoustic guy playing a live gig. You may not want that whole 12 string. Sometimes it can be a little much. Like I said, the neck is a little fuller sounding, or maybe you're adding it to another guy, and you just want a little bit more of that kind of chime when you're strumming away. And it really is very good for that. The other thing I like is that I can still play a very distinct bass line. And then still get chiminess on top of it, almost like there's a Mando player just playing right next to me. So it's a really cool combination of that. So I don't know, I love it. I think it sounds really cool, especially when you're playing it. So if you get a chance, run down to Tarpley or drive and get this 8-string off the wall and play it a little bit. I think you'll notice too that it's just really fun to play because it feels more like a 6-string neck and not so big like a 12-string neck with a little bit of chiminess. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you'd like to know as videos drop, just turn on notifications. We'll see you on the next one. So now I am joined with my friend and fellow work colleague here, Tyler, who we need to hurry up and do this video because his ankle monitor goes off in about 20 minutes. Yeah. All right. I won't use that one. I'm not deleting it. So I have joining with me is Tyler. He's a sales guy from the Burleson, Texas location. He likes long walks in the park, and he has cats. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's just he's sitting there. All right. Okay. I'm letting it roll. There we go. Take 2. All right. Hi. So I'm joined now with. No, I don't need to say hi. You've been talking for 15 minutes, James.